And I got a good man. Yeah, talk to me. Talk to me. You still broke. You still broke. It's just miserable and sad. That's all they doing. That's you wish you can be in place. You doing all that. You doing all that. Yes, my life is very peaceful. Who is this who said that? Kel. Yes, my life is very, very, very peaceful. I live in a 7-bedroom house. I got a pool in the back with a basketball court. I got a gym in the basement. I got millions of dollars. I can buy what I want. Yeah. All that. And I'm happy as and I got a good man. Yeah, talk to me. There you go. It's nothing that just how y'all can write words and y'all can make posts in capitals and y'all can blaze and y'all can post old pictures.
I normally don't support tearing someone down by bringing up where they came from, but her behavior since getting money is hard to overlook. No one needs to dig up old pictures or financial details to understand the problem. Growing up without wealth is nothing to be ashamed of. Many people start with very little and work their way up. The real issue is the way she now speaks to others. She constantly brags, flexes her lifestyle, and talks as if everyone around her is struggling, even though her own family was in that same place not long ago. That attitude feels especially uncomfortable because she presents herself as a role model for young Black girls. When someone claims to mentor others, people expect humility, empathy, and awareness. Instead, she often shames people for not having money, even though her success is still very recent. If others had treated her that way back when she didn't have much, it would have been labeled cruel and heartless. Now that she's doing it, her supporters rush in asking everyone to be patient and forgiving. The problem is that she doesn't offer that same grace to anyone else. That double standard is exactly why so many people are growing tired. At this point, the frustration isn't just coming from random critics online. Former fans are speaking up too. More people are noticing the same habits repeating, and they're no longer willing to ignore them. These aren't wild accusations or dramatic claims. They're small observations that keep adding up. Things her fan base used to brush aside are becoming harder to defend. Then there's the situation with Remy. It's clear she's starting to get under Remy's skin as well. Remy responded in a calm, controlled way that made it obvious she wasn't approving of what she was seeing. She didn't need to be loud or disrespectful. Her reaction showed she noticed the same patterns everyone else has been talking about. In the clip where Remy is out with Guju and the other girls, the vibe feels genuine. She looks relaxed, like she's simply spending time with friends, not trying to sell an image. That contrast really stands out side by side. People have also mentioned the constant baby talk. It doesn't feel warm or natural. Instead, it sounds practiced, almost like it's being performed for attention. Having a child, especially a planned one, is usually deeply personal. Here it feels forced and competitive. The repeated focus on having a baby younger comes off as intentional, especially knowing that Remy waited, struggled, and went through IVF to have her child.
I don't know if it's mayonnaise, but it's good.
One for Peyton NFL Man of the Year presented by Nationwide. It is Wagner. What an incredible honor this is. It's not about the stats. It's not about what happens on the field. It's about Walter's legacy and fulfilling that legacy.
Can't copy that. That's awesome.
Walter's legacy
What happened?
and fulfilling that legacy.
Can't copy that. That's awesome.
Walter's legacy
What happened?
and fulfilling that legacy.
Can't copy that. That's awesome.
That experience was deeply personal and emotional, and the comments being made do not feel random at all. They sound intentional, like quiet jabs meant to land without being called out directly. This is exactly what people have been pointing out. Many of Claressa's remarks feel like indirect attacks toward Remy. She often talks about women being older or hints at cosmetic work, even though the only procedure Remy has ever spoken about publicly was a breast reduction. That's why it feels strange that Claressa and her supporters keep pushing the idea that Remy changed her body in other ways. And honestly, even if Remy had chosen to do something, it wouldn't matter. She looks confident and healthy regardless. The truth is, Remy at 30 appears more fit and comfortable in her skin than Claressa does, and that's simply how it looks to many people. Still, that isn't even the real issue. The comparisons only exist because Claressa keeps creating them. She repeatedly places herself next to Remy in ways she thinks are discreet, but they never come across that way. People who are a bit older or more aware can easily see through it. The behavior feels obvious and the insecurity shows. A lot of this backlash probably wouldn't exist if Claressa carried herself more like Remy. Remy stays quiet and private. She doesn't look for approval. When she shares something, it's usually about her work, business success, or personal growth. Claressa also has achievements she could focus on, but instead she stays locked into comparison. She recreates outfits Remy wore years ago, repeatedly mentions Pap being upstairs, keeps reminding everyone that he loves her, and constantly talks about having a baby. That fixation ends up drowning out everything else. At this point, people aren't even focused on the original conflict anymore. The conversation keeps circling back to Pap's place in the house, the copying, and how bothered Claressa appears. That shift didn't happen by accident. Another detail people forget is how this relationship became public. He didn't want to be visible at first. The only reason anyone knows about them is because Remy exposed it and forced the truth into the open.
I definitely think she is in competition with Remy. I mean, if he's your man, you shouldn't be in competition. But I mean, he's your man, but he's her husband. They haven't got a divorce for a reason.
Is the competition the baby?
No.
How else can Remy
all of it
compete?
is. I think all of it. I think that's why she's saying, I'm going to have a baby next year, and keep saying it because she's jealous of the baby.
Before all of this became public, he was comfortable staying in the background. He had his marriage as cover, avoided open commitment, and kept his business life away from public judgment. Once that layer disappeared, the situation shifted completely. Claressa has even admitted that Pap doesn't enjoy social media attention, and that detail matters more than people realize. Suddenly, he's always upstairs. Suddenly, he won't eat on camera. Suddenly, privacy is a priority. On its own, that's not a problem, but it's quietly setting the stage for how this could end. This isn't about hoping for failure. It's about recognizing familiar patterns. If things fall apart, he already has the easiest exit. All he would need to say is that he never wanted the spotlight, never asked for the internet to be involved, and warned her from the beginning. From there, walking away becomes simple. Claressa's constant posting, oversharing, and staged moments only make that path smoother with time. At the same time, her behavior unintentionally gives Remy more space to look unbothered. Online audiences see it clearly. Some people relate to Claressa's energy and place their own hopes onto her story. They want to believe that if she succeeds, they can too. That feeling makes sense, but real life doesn't always follow that script. Sometimes the lesson only lands after a very public fall. Then there was the moment at the game. Remy stood up, calm and confident, wearing a custom outfit that couldn't be copied. That single moment spoke louder than any post. Now it's easy to predict what comes next. Watch how quickly Claressa looks for something similar. Watch how comparisons keep being pushed. It's starting to feel like a contest she believes she's winning, even when the reality says otherwise. What makes it even clearer is how one-sided it all feels. Remy isn't online trying to prove anything. She isn't chasing approval or forcing a story. She moves like someone who knows her worth and trusts what she's built. That kind of confidence doesn't need captions or constant explanations. Claressa, meanwhile, puts everything on display, and the more she shares, the more uncertain it appears. Instead of letting her real accomplishments speak, she shifts attention toward a rivalry that only she seems invested in. That gap in maturity keeps showing itself over and over again.
Baby next year. We already have it planned out. I'm gonna have baby next year, and then after I go through my stuff, then I'll come back and fight some more, and then probably have another one, and then do the same thing again. Like, I don't want to wait till I'm 40, 43, whatever, after my career to have my kids. Right. I want to be able to run at the park with my kids and stuff like that. I don't want to be too old. So I think that keeping my body in shape, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I think that'll also help me too while I'm going through this whole body and life changing stuff.
Remy's approach feels calm and purposeful. She knows when to speak, when to stay quiet, and how to present herself without forcing anything. Claressa, on the other hand, seems rushed, like she's trying to speed up respect instead of allowing it to develop on its own. That's why the copying stands out so clearly. It doesn't feel like inspiration, but imitation. When clothes, words, and even major life moments begin to match too closely, people notice. Once that awareness sets in, it's hard to ignore. Rather than building her own path, Claressa keeps moving around someone else's space, which makes it look like she's more focused on comparison than long-term impact. At the heart of it all is insecurity mixed with performance. The relationship, the baby talk, and the constant need to show closeness to a man who prefers privacy all feel like attempts to prove something. But real stability doesn't need constant reminders. It shows itself quietly through consistency and time. That's why many believe this situation has a limit. Not out of hate, but because attention without depth never lasts.
Creating NFL Man of the Year presented by Nationwide. It is Bobby Wagner. What an incredible honor this is. It's not about the stats, it's not about what happens on the field. It's about Walter's legacy and fulfilling that legacy.
Can't copy that. That's awesome.
Meanwhile, Remy stays untouched by the noise, watching everything play out without stepping in. That quiet distance is exactly why more people keep leaning toward her side, whether Claressa notices it or not. At its core, this situation comes down to self-awareness. When someone feels secure in who they are, they don't need to announce every success, relationship update, or future plan. They let their life speak on its own. That's why the difference between these two women keeps becoming clearer without much effort. One of them moves carefully, protects her image, and chooses when to be visible. The other shares constantly, trying to shape the story before it even settles. That contrast alone explains why public opinion keeps shifting. Another concern is how fast attention moved away from real achievements. There was a time when people focused on Claressa's work, her career progress, and professional growth. Now, those conversations are buried under personal posts and constant comparisons. When people stop discussing what you create and start discussing who you're trying to compete with, that's usually a sign something is off. The message gets lost. Instead of lifting her platform higher, Claressa has slowly turned it into a response space, reacting rather than leading. That approach rarely lasts. Adding a relationship into the mix only increases the pressure. When one partner values privacy and the other thrives on attention, tension is unavoidable. Neither side is wrong, but balance becomes necessary. Right now, that balance seems uneven. Repeated explanations, constant reminders of loyalty, and visible efforts to prove seriousness don't signal strength. They often suggest uncertainty. Strong relationships don't need daily defense. They stand quietly. Another thing people overlook is how the internet remembers patterns. Once audiences feel they've seen the same behavior enough times, patience fades. Everything begins to feel staged. That's where Claressa is losing support. Not because of one comment or a single mistake, but because of repetition. The same comparisons, similar remarks, and repeated attempts to line up with Remy's timeline stop feeling accidental over time. It begins to look like fixation. Remy, meanwhile, benefits from saying less. When silence is used well, it becomes powerful. It allows others to associate you with confidence, calm, and maturity without you asking for it. That position doesn't require constant correction or public defense. The contrast does the work for her. Age and experience also play a role. People who have lived, failed openly, rebuilt quietly, and learned restraint recognize these cycles quickly. They know how overexposure can backfire and how fast support can shift once authenticity feels forced. That's why many older viewers react the same way. It isn't hate, it's recognition. Attention always moves on. When it does, what remains matters. If Claressa doesn't refocus on substance, growth, and originality, she risks being remembered more for conflict than success. That's the real risk here. Not criticism, not headlines, but a diluted legacy. This situation doesn't need a dramatic ending to make its point. It's already doing that in real time. The more one side pushes, the stronger the other appears by standing still. In the end, this isn't about rivalry. It's about alignment. Alignment between words and actions, image and reality, and who someone claims to be versus how they move when no one is watching. Right now, only one side seems aligned, and until that changes, the outcome feels less